Hey, yo, what's poppin'? It's your girl Melissa with Monae Media, where everyone has a story. And you're watching Monae Media on YouTube, and you're listening to SeattleHipHopRadio.com. It's a beautiful Saturday.
It is.
In the Pacific Northwest. You are looking bright and lovely.
Thank you.
I love the color of your shirt and how it just, your skin just glows.
Thank you.
Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Amber Donaldson, Amber Corinne Donaldson. Just an artist in Seattle, in Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
You do a lot more than just art, okay?
I
so
do.
You are being real, modest. We got all this greatness behind us. I mean, it's just like, it's so beautiful to just look at. And these are paintings that you've done.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So let's
a small amount.
So before we get into all the paintings you've done, where are you from? Just give us a little bit of history.
So I was born in Galesburg, Illinois. That's where I was born originally, but I came here, I think I was like 6 months. 6 to 9 months, or maybe even 12 months, I'm not sure. But we came here, and this is home. So this is why I say this is where I'm from, because technically it is. I'm the oldest of 5 children. I was raised by my mom. She's a single mom, but she's dope.
Okay.
Amazing black woman, but she had me really young. She had me at 17, and so my grandmother, who is no longer with us at the time, she raised me for a while because my mom was young and still kicking it a little bit. So when you're 17, I mean,
and she was living with grandma behind.
Yeah, we all were.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens.
Yeah, and my grandmother was a painter as well. She's an artist.
Really?
So probably like, I want to say like 2 or 3. She got me like my first easel and paintbrushes. I always had markers, color pencils, anything that was gonna help me cultivate that artistic ability, because she knew from a young age that I already had it. So she really like pushed me 100%. So she always bought me art supplies every time. Every single time.
Do you have a lot of your things that you did when you were a kid?
My mom has most of them because I would make her cards, and she has a lot of stuff from like elementary school and all kind of stuff. I do have some of my grandma's paintings here with me, and then my uncle, he also passed away, but he was probably the best, I say, out of all of us. He was incredible.
So art is in your blood.
It is. It runs deep.
Man, and it shows.
Yeah,
it shows.
Because I'm not the only one who is artistic out of the 5 of my siblings.
Okay.
I think actually they all draw or paint or something, with the exception of one. And she still does art. She always says like, I didn't get it, but she does makeup, and that's art. You can still, so
that is art.
Yeah, it is. It's just a different form. It's just on the face, versus on a canvas or whatever. So,
I mean, that's big too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just as big as painting on a.
And she dresses nice, which fashion to me, that's another form of art. So I mean, art is
a way to express yourself.
Exactly. And what I like about art is it's relative to the person, and everybody and anyone can have an eye for it. It doesn't matter if you like go to the art museum and you pick out art, or if you take pictures, photography, it's just, there's so many forms. If you make jewelry, you do hair, all kind of stuff.
Right.
There's no limit. It's limitless. That's what I love about it. You can't put it in a box. So, and that's what people love to do, is to put stuff in a box, and you can't do that with art.
Right.
So, it's, once you find your niche and what you feel like you're good at.
Well, you are really good at painting.
Thank you.
So, I just want to ask.
Yeah.
Does it take like days? I don't want to get all the way into it, but that's okay. So, when do you feel like you are ready to paint something? Does it just come? Do you have to schedule when you're gonna, paint, or what's your creative process?
I'm inspired every single day by something. I like well, it's like twofold because I have really bad allergies. So being outside is not my favorite thing because I have allergies. But I love to be outside. I love trees. They're my favorite thing. And the wind, like I can hear it, and it just, that will inspire me to draw something. I also am on Facebook. I have this Facebook group that I'm in. It's called Black Artists United, and everybody always posts their art. So I just look and like get ideas, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's dope, or I didn't even think to use that kind of, you know. So I get a lot of from everywhere. Believe it or not, it doesn't take me a long time to paint.
Really?
It does not take me. I can do a painting in a day. I can do a painting in 3 hours.
They're really good, very detailed. There's so much detail, especially in this, and the curls on here.
Yeah, I'm big on curls.
You have a lot of curls.
I do. I don't wear my hair out very much because it gets big and I get hot, and I just, yeah.
Well,
but when I was younger, I did.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Your nails.
Yeah.
You've been in the sun. It's driving. It's driving.
It is driving. Yes, it's driving. My arm was, I was telling him the other day, like, man, my arm, man, one arm's gonna be super tan out here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I need to put my whole head out there. But yeah,
well, when you're moving around and doing so much, and we're gonna get to all of the great things that you do. You know, it's not like you're just outside sitting and bathing in the sun.
I wish I could and paint.
You are actively active.
Yes, I am.
All day, every day.
Yes, I am.
Do you take breaks?
From painting sometimes, because it can give me cramps. So I do try to listen to my body and say, okay, I need to take a break today, or just the squinting of doing like the details and things of that nature. But if I've had, since I started my business, it actually has been kind of nonstop. So I've been doing and doing and doing. So every once in a while, I'll say like 3 days, no painting. But I'm always like working on something or something's in my head, and I've sketched stuff out. And it got to the point where I was so busy. I mean, I have probably about 6 to 9 sketches in there that I haven't even got to paint yet that were my own ideas, because I keep getting, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that?
So people are calling you, requesting you to paint things.
I do commission pieces. I do. Yes. So they'll call and say, hey, I have this idea, or I have a birthday present, or it's my anniversary, or I have a mural for you to come do. I mean, all these different things, and that's pretty much how it works. So I'm like, yeah, just hit me up. People know. And then, like I said, I just did a pair of custom red bottoms for my friend. She's doing like a
painting of.
No, she's doing she has her own business, and she's doing a photo shoot.
Okay.
A brand photo shoot, that's what it is. And she said, I need these for my colors, so I just hooked them up, and she was very pleased. So it was fun. But my brother also, he does custom shoes. He does Nikes.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I need all that information.
DJ Official.
I need all that information. Okay, I need all that
Look, you can probably interview all of us at some point.
All right, let's run it up. You know, that's what I do. I love.
Yeah.
There's so many talented people.
There are tons,
out here,
especially out here, and we don't get enough, media coverage, because people don't even. They're like,
nobody cares.
There's black people in Seattle. People ask that all the time, and I'm like, yeah.
And we're so great. We're so great. It's beautiful here. Beautiful women here.
It is.
Don't underestimate us, because we're coming for you.
Right.
That.
Right. Hello.
You know. And so people can buy your paintings.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Sunny. So SNYS. .era ERA 206. That's my email. I mean, not my email, my Instagram. Sunny's Era 206, but there's a dot in between. Sunny.era 206. And that's where I do all my interactions with people mainly. Unless I post something on Facebook, then someone sees it. Because I do post stuff on Facebook, and I post stuff on my Instagram as well. But people DM me all the time, and they're like, yeah, can you do this? So I've got a lot of work, believe it or not, from my Instagram.
Instagram is...
Yeah. People have found me. Like, they just hashtag, like, artists, like, local artists. And that's how one lady, I did my first mural for her, at Honey Hole Sandwiches.
I want to say that Instagram, it, like, intertwines. Like, it recognizes things that you're talking about and posting about, and and connects it with someone else.
Right.
And it's... it's dope.
And I don't think people get how like, it's amazing how hashtags work, because
Mm-hmm.
you know, you put one hashtag and what it'll do is it'll funnel out through all these other people, and you're like, how did you see my stuff? Well, you put this one hashtag and that connected to me, to my hashtag, and then, you know, so it's
telling
it's
people
crazy.
hashtag your name,
Yes.
hashtag your brand,
Yes.
hashtag it. That's why I'm always
Yeah.
Monae Media. Let's run it up. You know, there's key words that I see
Exactly.
constantly.
Me too. Yep.
You know.
Yep. I already know.
What's your keywords?
My keyword is like Black excellence. I
Mhm.
always do, like, especially when I do the ones that are like of brown people, and you know, but I do Black excellence. That's one of the things. Sunshine. Sunshine is my nickname. I've been called that pretty much my whole life, but I kind of shortened it to Sunny for you know,
I love
my
it.
art, and just for, you know, different purposes.
It represents, you know, all of this greatness and sunshine.
Thank you.
So it's beautiful.
Yeah. So
Your nails is looking good. I enjoy looking at this woman. She's just a sight to see, you know, and it's absolutely amazing.
yeah, I enjoy it. It's a really interesting process, but I do feel like, you know, when I paint, I always feel honored to give for someone to have a piece of me in their space. Because I believe in like energy and like the space being good, and so if somebody wants a piece of me, I want to pour that good energy into them, you know, so that when they hang it, people have my stuff in their work, you know, their workspace, their home space.
It's what they look at. What's
Right.
your visual
Exactly.
is what you feel. Like what
Exactly.
Ooh, right there. I gotta figure out which one I'm gonna partake in.
There's more to come.
But-
Trust me, I told you I didn't sketch so many.
Yeah, I may think of something. You know, I don't know yet, but we gonna figure that out.
Oh yeah, we got time.
Yes.
Yeah, we got time. So yeah, but there's, man, just the things on the canvases that I do, and like I've done a couple of like sip and paints for adults, and then I've done some for students, not students, but some for young kids for their birthday parties. Parents are like, hey, can you come do this paint party for me? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So it's been really cool, because I'm a creative being. It's just who I am. And when I'm not creating, there's two things when I'm not doing, I don't feel like I'm me. Mm-hmm. If I'm not creating, and if I'm not serving young people in one way or another, those are the two things that I, without a shadow of a doubt, know that I was born to do. Like a lot of people walk around on the earth and they don't know their purpose. They don't know where you were. Existing. But I've known mine since I was young. Since I was probably about 9 or 10. I knew there were things. Now, I didn't always know how to navigate it, or, you know, how to convey it to the world. But I've never questioned the fact that those were some of the things that I was supposed to do. Is to like interact with young people and help them and mentor them and counsel them and walk this life with them, you know, and to create whatever way that may be done. But I know that those are the two things in my life that I've come here to do, to serve, you know, to serve young people.
Be of service.
Yeah, exactly. So
yes.
Yeah.
You just.
And it's hard work, but it's
Absolutely.
worth it. It's worth it, you know.
It makes you feel good.
It does. It really does. Especially when you get to see the fruits of your labor. And you don't always get to see that. But when you do, then you're like, man, okay, I'm going to keep going, you know?
You're speaking my language over here. Like, you know, a lot of my interviews are with males,
right.
You know, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely amazing. And, you know, to listen to your stories and, you know, the things that you're doing, which we'll get to all of that. You know, there's so much more. You know, it's absolutely a pleasure. And you speaking my language. You're over here preaching. You just, you know, what you got a tattoo? What is it?
I do. These are all like, this is a whole sleeve that just kind of represents different things about me. So this is, you know, says 1981. That's the year I was born. Okay. A mic, as I mentioned before. I do a little singing here and there, you know. Minnie Mouse. I love Minnie Mouse, and my family, we're really a big Disney family. Like, we've taken trips to Disneyland, all like 10 of us. You know, we all get on the rides together. One year we had the T-shirts with the Disney and the names. I mean, we did it all. Okay, right. So, but yeah, and then This is Washington State, and it says there's no place like home.
Mm-hmm.
I went to fashion design school for a while, and like did a little like sewing and making of clothes. Yeah, Mary Poppins. I love Mary Poppins. I mean, who doesn't love a woman that can pull anything out of her bag? Hello?
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
So yeah, this is just kind of a representation of who I am, who I was, who I'm becoming. It's just a mixture of all things. And then the last thing I'll say is this is a walking stick right here, and this is like a road, as you can see, and this is a shell. So my mom and I, we did a pilgrimage. It's called the Camino de Santiago. So we walked from France across northern Spain, and we were gone for about a month, I think a month and a half.
You literally you walked for a month.
Yeah, every day. Me and my mom. Yep. So that was aside from like all the serving and stuff that I do, that was the hardest and the most wonderful thing I've ever done with my life. And that's just aside from me working with, kids and young people. But she and I, we were going through some hard times, and was it just you? It was just us.
So you?
I mean, people do it all over the world, but it was just she and I who went on the trip together. So yeah, it was incredible. She's gonna do it again. We want to do it again eventually. But yeah, she's like I said earlier. My mom, she's dope.
She's okay.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Sheila Blackwell.
So you're watching Monae Media on YouTube, and you are listening to SeattleHipHopRadio.com, and it's me, Melissa, and Amber over here, just chopping it up, talking about her paintings. So, man, that just inspires me. Because it's not something that I've done.
Right.
Right. And then you talk in, what is it? Derek Goggins, he ran for like, I want to say a couple of days or 3 days or something like that. Things like that. Like it is mentally, it is a whole mental thing. It's just like, meditating, sitting by yourself, but you literally have to put your mind has to tell your body to keep going and don't stop.
Yeah, and I mean, some days, I kid you not, I don't think we walk less than 8 miles a day, which is, my mom and I are walkers. So it's not, for us, it wasn't a big deal, the walking part, but it is the mental part because you're walking in a whole nother country. And some days you're walking all uphill, all mountains. We literally walked through the Pyrenees Mountains. And we both, you could grab the snow off the mountain. And I was looking at her like, the first day is the hardest, and I was like, I did not sign up for this. We both were mad. But we had went to this like seminar thing beforehand, and one guy told us, it was an older guy, and he did it like 4 times, and he told us, he said, you're gonna want to, the first day is the hardest, and you're gonna want to stop walking. Don't ever stop walking. And that was the advice I kept. I kept repeating myself when I'm walking. You go up one hill and it's another one, and then it's another one. You're like, are you serious?
But you know what? I always say, don't stop until you finish. Don't stop because you're tired.
Right.
Don't stop because you're telling yourself, oh, I can't. You know what I'm saying? You just got it. And that's with life. Period. The journey of life.
Period. All of it.
And that you can do that. That's discipline.
It is. Anytime I'm struggling or I'm having, my mom says, do you know what we did? She always reminds me. Exactly. She said, you can do anything, Amber. She was like, and I had just had heart surgery. I had to get cleared from the doctor to be able to go. So the fact that I did that after having this surgery, and she was like, you can do anything. There's nothing that you can't do. She was like, so you keep in mind that you did this great thing over here.
Let me remind you who you are.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah, because sometimes we forget, and sometimes we lose our way.
We do.
Those friendly reminders are always good to have.
Absolutely, and it has a lot to do with the people that you have in your life.
Exactly.
Your influences.
Yes.
So with the next thing we're gonna talk about is your influences. And how much of a big impact it is in your life to have those influences in your life. Yeah. And how you separate yourself from the bad people. So give us a little bit about how you deal with that.
Well, the influence I've had in my life, I would like to first start with my family. As I said before, we're very family oriented, but my mom obviously has had a really big impact and influence on my life. But there are a few other people. My Aunt Val. So my Aunt Val is my mom's sister, and people most of the time think she's my mom rather than my real mom. They think I look more like her, which I think I do too. Yeah, everybody. But she has been an anchor in my life. God, she said that when I was a baby, we had a connection, and it's never left. It's always been there. So yeah, my Auntie Val, and then I would say a really good friend of mine. I call her my sister, Nicole. She has been. I think we met. God, I was like 21. I was very young, but she's been a really dope person in my life who also gives me those friendly reminders, like, hey, get it together, you got this, you know what I mean, type of thing. My sisters, I'm close with my sisters, Kristen, Celeste, and Antoinette, and my sister Michelle. We're all very close, and there are certain people that I can just text any time of day, and they know what's up. My friend Leslie, she and I are pretty close too, and it feels good to continually have people remind you of who you are when you forget. They can give the words to the song that you sing when you forget the words, and you don't even know, So I would say, regarding my close people in my life, that I would say them, but I would also say famous people or known people. I would say Brene Brown is a person. Influence. Yes. Brene Brown is. She's an amazing. I tell people that she's my BFF, but she doesn't know it. She's incredible. I one day was doing something, and this was years ago, but I watched her TED Talk on vulnerability, and ever since then I started kind of low key stalking her, because she's incredible. I'm serious, and I felt like there were always things that I wanted to say, but I couldn't convey them in a way where I felt like people would understand them, and she did that. I felt like she and I were talking, oh, okay, yeah, you get what I'm saying, I get what you're saying, we're speaking the same language without speaking the same language, you know what I mean? Michelle Obama, obviously. We went to one of her, when she came, I think it was Tacoma actually, when she came to Tacoma, and we went to her, I remember that. Not even a seminar, I don't know what you call it, because it's not a concert, but, her. We went to her thing, and just hearing her story, and I had listened to her prior to that, but so she's a really big one that and then the other one, Oprah. Oprah's another person that I kind of look up to, and Oprah has a lot of wisdom to me, and that's to go back to my family. That's what I feel like my aunt has. My aunt has a lot of wisdom, her and my mom, and so. With the mixture of those people, I feel like they have really helped me become the person that I am today. And also, the students I work with, they teach me something all the time.
And so you are. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I worked for the school district, Seattle Public Schools, and I was at West Seattle High School for 5.5 years. I was the restorative justice coordinator there. What is a restorative justice teacher? Okay. Restorative justice is it's multifaceted, but one of the things that it is, it's about handling conflict in a healthier way, right? And it's about breaking down systemic racism in schools. And then it's also about, it also talks about the prison to school, school to prison pipeline, and how, kids are labeled from kindergarten, especially brown and black students. They're labeled from kindergarten on. And so by the time they get to high school, they don't really fully have a fresh start or a chance, because we get to see your records all the way from when you're in kindergarten. Oh, okay. So if you have a record of being a problem child in kindergarten, it's going to follow you to middle school. If you continue that behavior, we'll just say, right? Correct. It'll continue to middle school. And then what they'll do is sometimes is sometimes they'll label you, oh, you have ADHD, or you have ADD, or you know, and some students need that, and that's okay if you have those things. But sometimes we're mislabeled, right? Because we're just not being heard with the right ear. So I think what restorative practices do, they make you see the person as a person, not as a student, not as, you know, they make you look at like, hey, maybe you're acting up in class today because you're hungry. I don't let you eat in class. You get here late every day because you have to catch public transportation. You don't have any food at home. But if we don't ask those questions, we don't know. We just assume you've come in my classroom to interrupt my life, and I'm trying to teach, and then there's a power struggle. So what I do is I come and I interrupt that kind of behavior, and I call people out, say, hey, this is not okay behavior. You know, and then the other thing I do is I really push students to use their voice and to advocate for themselves. I think parents love their kids and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think kids are taught how to advocate for themselves these days, how to ask for themselves. And so it's really important that young people know how to do that, because parents aren't with you at school all day.
Absolutely.
You know, you need to be able to advocate and know what your rights are as students, because you have them. But people aren't going to tell you that.
Oh, no,
you know, you got to know that for yourself.
Exactly.
So,
and if you're not told, you don't know.
Right.
And as a child, you only know what you're taught.
Well, and you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
So yeah, I mean, so that's some of the work that I did there, and now I'm at Ingram High School.
Okay.
And I do restorative work there. It's not my main job, but it is a lot of the work that I still do. Because of remote, I haven't got to meet as many students as I'd like to, because it's new. It's a new position. It's remote. People don't know my face yet, you know. But I have a really big office.
How long have you been there?
Since February. Yeah, and school's out in 2 weeks. So, you know.
That's okay, because guess what? Yeah. Next year when you pull up,
I'm ready. I am so ready.
You have a little taste.
Ready. Yeah.
They gon' your energy is attractive. And we were talking earlier, so you said you started working with the youth when you were 15.
Yeah, I want to say I might actually have been like 12.
Okay.
12. Well, I think it started this way. When I was about 12, I started doing work for younger people. So when I was 12, I started doing youth work with elementary school kids. Okay. And then as I got older, then I got a job where I did day camp, and I actually got paid for it. But it started volunteering, just doing some stuff with young people. And also, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, you know.
Right. So you're a leader.
It's just in me, like.
That's what you've been doing.
Yeah, my whole life. So.
And you know, a lot of young, you know, kids need people to come to. You know.
Right.
I actually was having a really deep conversation with my daughter and my niece last night for like 2 hours. Like, you know, I've never had this conversation with them before. They were telling about stories about, you know, them not necessarily being bullied at school, but you know how the other kids would treat them. You know, and it's funny that I'm sitting here with you right now, and I just had this conversation with them yesterday, and I've been dealing with a few things with those 2 girls. They're 14 and 16. They are my everything. I took them with me yesterday to do an interview. So, yeah, you know, and to have you know, if I could send them to your school, I want them to go. You know, because they need you. Right. Kids need a you. You know what I mean? In their day.
This is true. Because I didn't have me growing up. I did in my family, but I didn't at school.
Right.
And you know, some students come from home, and home is not safe for them. Sometimes school is the only safe space that they will be able to interact in. And so that's why I really try to be that for them. You never know what people have going on. You never know. That's why it's so important to, one, create healthy community with them, healthy relationships with them, and then you can kind of pry and get in their business a little bit, you know. But nobody just off the top.
And you can't just be like, okay, so your mom does what? Did she whoop you?
I was just about to say, like, you can't just pry like that. You gotta like work your way, you know, kind of like, hey.
And that comes with getting to know.
You find out that they want to tell you anyway.
Right.
Like most
they
of the
just
time
were waiting for someone to express it to.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you are watching Melissa on Monae Media and on YouTube, my bad, and you are listening to SeattleHipHopRadio.com. And I'm sitting here with Amber. So we go back to what we were talking about.
I just think it's important because as much as the cliche statement is that the children are our future, they are.
They are.
These are people that have to actually go out and like function in society, right? So they're going to be a me and you one day, right? Mm-hmm. So if we can't get them to like verbally express how they feel and we can't do those things in a healthy way, what are we setting ourselves up for, right? What is the future really going to look like?
Growing is about, getting older as time goes on. It's about learning. It's about growing. Mm-hmm. And you have to have that around you, and they're watching you, so you think they don't see your growth?
Right.
You think the kids don't
they
see
do. They
your
know
patterns?
everything.
They know what time you go to the bathroom. They're watching your every move.
Yeah.
And that's where they learn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents are still set in their ways, and they're gonna do whatever they want to do, but they're not actually thinking about these kids that are watching them.
Right. A lot of parents and a lot of teachers.
And
because teachers are like, there's an old school way of teaching things. You come in, you do what I say, and that's it. And let me be hard. And I'm like, that's not working with these kids.
So you talk to teachers as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, let's.
Oh yeah. Well, I agree. Because here's the thing. The thing about restorative practices is, my goal is to get the students to look at the teachers as people. And get the teachers to look at the students as people.
Not just a teacher and a student.
Exactly. And I realized this, I think I was between 13 and 15 years of age. My family had went to Pizza Hut, and this is way back when it was on Broadway. We were sitting there and we were eating, and I think I saw my math teacher, and I saw him sitting there with his family, and I was like, wait a minute, because my mind didn't think of that. You're my math teacher. So I just see you teaching math. You're the math teacher, and you don't have anything else.
Right.
And I thought to myself, I said, right, like he's a person. Like he has a family. His kids are sitting there. He likes pizza, obviously. But you don't think that, and you're not taught. And so what it does is it creates this, I want to say boundary.
Yeah,
but it's not a good boundary because there's no empathy or there's no understanding.
Look at it from different perspectives.
Right. It's all about changing the narrative. So, but when I realized that, I said, "Oh, I remember sitting there saying to myself, he's a person, Amber.
He's just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all go through the same thing, but in different ways.
Yeah.
We all live our life the same way, but different.
Yeah. I mean, we had a teacher that was sick, and my kids came in, busted out, and I need her to put my grade in, and they're mad, right? They're mad because their parents are seeing that they got this D or this E, right? Which technically isn't her fault because they had to keep their other stuff up. But I said to them, well, because she was my friend, or is still my friend, and I said to them, well, do you know she's sick and she has to have surgery? Oh my God. Right.
Exactly.
I said, so how about you take a step back, breathe, relax, okay? Because you're only stressing because of something that you didn't handle. You didn't handle your business, But I'm like, your grades will get in there, but her life and her well-being is more important right now.
Right.
And so then they wanted to write notes. I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. Check in on her. So I'm like, it's easy. And I mean, I get it because those are the most selfish years. And you're supposed to be, because it needs to be about you and you growing and stuff to an extent.
But if they don't have somebody like you to say, hey, you know what I'm saying, step back.
The world doesn't revolve around you.
Because
you're in your own world all the time. So it's okay, but it's also okay for somebody to say, hey, chill.
Yeah, right. Like
all will be well.
People around me, I feel like, listen, I know sometimes I get a little excited and I get a little, I move around too much and I'm like, do this, do that. All you gotta do is be like, Melissa, stop.
Just hold on.
Relax. Breathe.
Take a moment.
You know what I mean? Like it's not that. It's literally not that serious. And that's what a lot of things, especially on the way here. You get these people behind you that drive like in a hurry for no reason.
Talk about driving. Yesterday for me was a hard day in driving. It was a hard day. I was like, what is the weather doing to people? But
yeah. Okay. You're an artist. You're an activist.
I am.
Okay.
I am an activist. I am. And I believe that the restorative justice work that I do, that's a part of me being an activist. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily marching down the street every single day, but the work that I do, and being able to tell speak to white people, white teachers or white educators and explain to them like, well, this is not okay. Like when you say that, it's not okay. Or when you behave this way, this is not okay. And most of the time they receive it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. When I left West Seattle High School, I was baffled at some of the people who wrote me personally and said, I don't teach the way I teach anymore because of you. I didn't even think they noticed me or paid attention to anything because I was there for the kids. That was my job. I was focused. But it was two birds and one stone that I got to help create a better relationship with this teacher so that they could have a better relationship with the student. And it worked. I was like, it just made me feel good because then I knew, okay, I did make impact,
People are watching you.
Yeah.
And they may
and you don't pay attention
nothing.
to it.
They may not even acknowledge it or tell you but when they're ready.
Right.
And
that is so true.
When they're ready, ain't got nothing to do with you. But when they are ready, it's deep.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean?
It really
feels
is.
Good.
It does. It does feel good, and I think about it as like it's not about you, but it is about you doing your part. So if you can keep that kind of in perspective, then you realize like my life is not my own. That's how I feel. My life is not my own. It's not for me to just sit around and be selfish and do all the things that I want to do.
Because you are influencing a lot of other people's
right.
life. Like if
right.
if I canceled or you canceled, it affects more than just
right.
you to not show up.
Right.
Show up and show out.
Show up is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up for people is really important.
And you may not realize how much of a influence and impact your presence just is.
Right.
On an everyday basis.
Right.
People might, you could be sick or something, I need Amber. Where's Amber? What do they call you? What do they call
Miss A?
Miss A. I need Miss A right now. Like,
you
know what I mean? Like, there's a need for you. You are in high demand.
Yeah, one of my students really struggled with depression and when I left West Seattle High School, they threw like a little party for me online and the kids showed up to this other meeting and it was really nice. But one student said, I'm alive today because of Miss A. And I was like, what? I was blown away. Boo-hoo, crying. Everybody, at that point, everybody in the meeting.
So you guys were online.
Yeah. Well, I was in person. I was in my office cleaning out my office. Because I was exiting out, but I had a meeting that day. And so they had the kids that were there that, went there. They popped in the meeting. And so when that student said that, everybody was crying. The kids were crying. The adults was crying. I had no idea. I was just trying to be supportive to a student who needed it, and who, even though I don't work there, who still needs it. And I still contact them. And I still talk with them, So you just never know. You really don't know. And but like I said earlier, there's no other place I'd rather be. I know that that's my purpose. Like, I know I've always known that part. Like, there's no question about it. And I feel, I often think about the people who wander the earth and don't know. Because I just think, man, that has to be really hard to not really know what you're supposed to be doing in this life. For someone who feels really solidified in that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm grateful. I'm always grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to, impact young people, to speak to them, to be in their presence. And then I'm also grateful, so grateful, to have my art and have somebody actually enjoy it and want it in their space, and people
Not
say,
somebody, a lot of people. And these paintings ain't cheap, let me tell y'all. Okay? She said a number, and I said, ooh. I said, let me get my budget plan together.
Yeah, and that's the other thing though that I learned is like placing, not devaluing yourself and your stuff
because it will sell. Somebody will buy it,
and people already have. So
say that.
And one thing that's been told to me, like, it's not for that person then. It's not for them, But don't sell yourself short, And my friend, I do have friends, like one of my friends I mentioned earlier, Leslie. Shout out to Leslie Williams. But she always says, she's like, Amber, no. How long did you work on this? How long did it take you? And Nicole, my sister, she also says, well, how much did it take you to make this supply? Not even like, if you exit out how much time you spent on it, how much did you have to pay for these different paints, for the paintbrushes, for the canvas? So like all of that takes, she was like, and these other people, they're charging, trust. People are charging more than what you charge, even right now. And people are still buying their stuff.
So we'll be looking at the museum. When's the museum coming? So, we could just be, I got to go to Amber's museum. I need to see what she got new, what she been working on, what she been doing,
right.
And
I'd love to
art
have a
gallery.
I'd love to.
It's coming.
It is.
It's coming.
It is.
It's coming.
It's coming because, honestly, I would love to just work with young people and be with them and doing activist work full time and painting full time.
And they're watching you, and you are amazing.
And I mean, some of my students have bought my artwork.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, Miss, I gotta save up a couple checks, but I'm coming. I'm coming to get one. One of my students, my old student, she graduated last year, but she FaceTimed me the other day. She needed to talk about some stuff, and she had my painting. I said, "Oh, that's a nice painting." She was like, "Yeah, I know the artist," but it was one of my pieces because I used to hang some in my office. So if people wanted to come and just look, not even buy, if they want to just look at them and stuff, and so she was like, "I want this piece," so I let her have it. But
I would always be trying to come find you if I had you when I was in high school.
Man,
I'm coming to find Miss A. I love it.
That's so funny. You sound like my students. Where's his at?
Where's
when
she
I'm
at?
not when I'm
okay.
sick, I mean I'd have to message him like, okay guys, I'm not gonna be here. You're fake. What's going on? That was always their response. You're fake. What's going on? Are you alive? Okay, cool. We'll see you tomorrow. Or whatever. Because I always have food and snacks and candy. My office was popping. It was a place to be. It was music blasting during lunchtime. I had a dark little thing in there. So
they could just come in
and
relax and chill. Exactly.
Be them without any reservations. I accept everybody, especially my students, for who they are, but I do encourage and push change and betterment for themselves. So because I believe that that's how God sees you. I said He loves you for who you are, but He doesn't expect you to stay that way. He expects you to change. He expects you to do things to better yourself. And that's how I feel like I can give God's love to the students without ever even mentioning anything like that. Accepting them for who they are, but challenging them to be a better version of themselves. Because that's how you know people really love you. If I let you do whatever and stay the same.
Exactly.
You don't need me. I'm just like your friends.
Exactly. But I love this lady. I love this. I love it. Ooh. We didn't came a long way.
Yes.
This journey's not easy.
It's not. And I don't care what anybody says, you cannot do it alone. We need people. We were created to be in community with one another.
God put everybody in our lives for a reason. And it's so great when every time I do an interview, like I learn so much. It's just a great feeling to be able to experience, go through my journey and learning from other people and what they do.
Yeah. And
their talent and behind everything. And I love this. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm grateful.
So, let's talk about one of your paintings. Okay. So do you have a favorite painting? Or
I don't hear. Well, that's not true.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say I have. There's so many things that I do, and so some it's like you look at that one, which really there's one down here which is really busy, and but then you look at this one that is so simple, right? Queen. She's called Queen, And I just thought of a woman with a very like round shaped afro. I thought about my mom back in the day, you know what I'm saying, with just like the gold hoops and the simple gold chain, you know. And then the little girl right here blowing the bubble gum with all the different curls. It made me think of myself. She's a little more chocolate than me.
I knew that was you. I'm just saying, I knew that was you.
You know, it just made me think of this made me think of like a carefree child. A child that just goes outside and plays. They don't have any cares. You know, they're not worried about, because these days it's just not that. I work with a lot of kids and I see them where they have the weight already on them. By the time they get to high school, they've experienced way more than they should have. And seen way more than they should have.
A lot of that has to do with the internet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure, absolutely.
Following everything. This is what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
follow me, follow me. Do what I do. Let's
YouTube,
do this TikTok. Let's do this challenge. Yeah. I mean, come on. We
just go outside.
Go outside, make mud pies, climb trees.
Exactly.
You know, be at grandma's house, eat ice cream, stay until midnight. Yep. You know.
So that's what that made me think of. Just carefree living for young people. You know. A very close, she's a friend of the family, but she's like my auntie, but she had passed away, and I was feeling blue, and so that was a result, and this painting is called I've Got the Blues. It came out really beautiful, and I really do believe that she's a part of that.
Yes,
she is. So yeah, that was for her, you know. And hopefully if and when it sells, they'll get that energy that I put into it. You know, all the appreciation I had for her, the love I had for her, and how much I missed her, or still do miss her. You know, And this is actually, I just have been so busy, but this was supposed to be originally a part of a series. I wanted to do 3 different women, and the head wraps were all going to be different shapes on there, but they were all going to be black and white, and then each background was going to be different. So I was going to do one with a yellow background, one with an orange background, you know, or red, or whatever I decided that day. But I just haven't had the time to finish it.
We getting there.
So yeah, and I don't remember the name of this one, but excuse me. I just was thinking hair one day. And how there are so many types of, like these days, right? You hear about all these different types of curls. Like, are you a 4C? Or are you a, you know, I don't know much about it. I don't either. But because I read about hair and stuff, like how to like just, wash your hair and pre-pooing and all that stuff. I'm like, wow, like 4C. I didn't know, you know, back in our day.
Different textures of curls.
I didn't know they had names. So I was like, oh, that's cool, you know.
Okay.
But I just thought about hair and curls, and I wanted it to mainly be hair. That was my main, thing. But I just think it's beautiful. I do think it's beautiful. Yeah. And this one, I love leaves and trees, as I said earlier.
Yes.
Like, this is my.
Yes.
I love it. Trees. This has always been my favorite thing. So. This was a commission piece, actually. Somebody had asked me to do that one down there. I did a smaller one, and it sold immediately. I just was bored one day, and I was like, I'm going to do this. So I came up, and she was like, oh, my God, please do me one. So I did her a 3-piece. The one I did was very small. It was only like this big. And I generally...
I know what I want. We'll talk later.
I generally... One thing I don't do is I don't repeat the same piece. So if you get something, it is going to be an original for me. I don't make the same thing twice. So hers isn't even like the one I did. They're very similar, but they're not exactly the same. And I do that because I never feel like I can recreate something exactly with him, and I don't want to stress myself out. So I'm like, nope, originals only. If you want something in that family, okay, yeah, I can do that for you. But I'm not going to make the same exact thing for you, unless it's like...
I just know I want a 3-piece. Don't worry about it. I am original. I don't,
Yeah, 3-piece. All right. Chicken. 3-piece chicken wing. You want a wing, a thigh, and a leg? Or
I want all of it. I want the whole body, baby. I want the whole body.
The whole thing, huh?
I see it's called what is the I know that's the easel, right?
Yes, this is the easel.
And then what is this called?
This thing, I always forget I forget what a lot of stuff is. I'm like, give me the thing. And they're like, what? I'm like, the thing right there with the paint on it.
Well, show me some things and let me pick out which thing it really is.
But I know, I think there's another name for it, but I know it's a paint palette.
Oh, okay,
For some reason, I feel like there's another name for it. I can't remember if there is or not.
And this is funny, though, because this setup, that reminds me of Bob Ross.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Bob Ross was a really big part of my life.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So,
because like I said, I did a lot of painting with my grandma at her house, and
she painted with you.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all had chairs,
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, wow.
She was incredible.
She was,
My grandmother was an amazing woman. She was
love
incredible.
to see some of her pieces.
Yeah, she's got some beautiful work, and she worked more with watercolors. Okay. I work more with acrylics.
Okay.
I want to work more with watercolors, but watercolors are very they're uncontrolled. Mm. These are more controlled, and I like to have control over my feet.
I see it.
But watercolors spread, and if you put too much water, then they spread more, right? And if you don't put enough, then it looks too dry. I mean, it's a lot of effort, but she worked a lot with watercolors. A lot of her work is amazing. And I said my uncle, I didn't see very many paintings he did, but he drew a lot. Mm-hmm. So I would say in my older years, I paint more. I used to draw more. So I used to charcoal, a lot of sketching, little graffiti. And then as I got older, I started painting more and more and more and more.
Have you done a wall, or people go on bridges and?
As far as graffiti goes,
I mean,
no.
I don't know, just anything.
I've done murals.
I mean?
I've done murals on public places that people have asked me to come do. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I had done my first mural that I did was at Honey Hole Sandwiches down on Broadway, right off Broadway. When the rioting and things were happening, they had put boards up in the windows so that people wouldn't. So I painted on the board, and that's what was there. Somebody bought it. Somebody bought mine. Yeah. So I did that. I went down to Pike Place. I did a mural down at Pike Place at what's the name of at a restaurant down there. I can't remember, but it's in the main area. I always forget what the place is called. But I did one there. There's a salon in Mill Creek, Salon Tagua, and I do one there. I do one there about every 6 weeks. I come and I do so. I did one for them. I've done them in people's houses. I did a mural. One of the first murals I did was for Derek Wheeler Smith. Shout out to you, Smith. He had me come and do one. He has a Quaker bathroom.
What is that?
He's a Quaker. He went to Franklin.
I don't know a Quaker. I don't know what that is.
It's a mascot for his high school. Okay. It's the mascot for his high school.
Oh, okay.
He went to Franklin, so he's a Franklin Quaker. And he had me come and draw, this whole Quaker guy with a football, black dude with an afro. Yeah, and so
you have done a lot.
Yeah, I have done. Yeah. So and then I've done couple things. So I'm supposed to be actually his wife. Hey, Stephanie. His wife also is having me come do a piece in her office at their house as well. Wow. So yeah, it's really cool. But
you're doing things that are in people's lives every day.
Yes. And that I love.
Yes.
That I love. I love creating. Like I said, if I'm able to create in any way, shape, or form, I know that I'm going to be in my element. It doesn't matter. I know I'm going to be there. And that gives me solace.
You absolutely are inspiring me. Like, I'm just so amazed, It's awesome. And the fact that you feel good while you're doing it is even more so.
Yeah. It does feel really good. It feels good. And then when I sit back and I look like, oh, I did that. That's another, that's a really satisfying feeling. Like, that came from me. Like, my hands did that. My hand. I always see parents look at their kid like, yeah, I made that. When I look at my art, I'm like, yeah, girl, you did that. That's
you. All mine. That's all mine. Okay, nobody take it away. Okay? Nobody take
And
it
the salon I went to last week to do the mural there, they have paintings hanging up, and my paintings hanging up to sell. And I forgot So when I got there, I was like, I said, oh, that's my piece.
Sometimes you forget you do so many.
Like, oh, that's a nice piece. And I said, Amber, you did that. So friendly reminders everywhere, right?
Right.
All the time.
Right.
So, yeah. But I'm grateful. The pandemic pushed me to like do some things, and it really helped me.
Let's talk about that.
It helped more than hurt me as far as my art is concerned. It was very. I was inspired to do a lot of things, and people were just buying it like crazy.
So you was just up in here,
Girl, quarantining and painting.
Wow, and then it just blossomed.
Yeah. Yep, it has blossomed.
If this quarantine didn't do that to a lot of people, I mean,
over here,
say that.
Over here, it was a big deal.
I was doing something.
Yeah, I was. I mean, and it was. Sometimes I have, 4 paintings in a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it was big. Like, it slowed down. It's not as, the demand for it isn't as high right now. But sometimes I'm like okay with the breaks because, sometimes you need them, and the waves kind of they go,
Yep.
So, but I love that because one thing I asked when people buy my art, I ask one thing, like, please, all I ask is that you post it and you tag me. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because that, like, spreads, like wildfire. Mm-hmm. So, like,
you do great work.
Thank you.
When's the museum coming?
Girl,
what? Okay. What do we have to look forward to from you? How about your future projects? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Man, 5 years?
I mean, okay, you could do 5, you could do 10, you could do 1, you could do your whatever it is that you want to share.
Well, so I haven't really said anything about this, but it's been going over in my mind. But being that the world is kind of opening back up, because see, right when the pandemic hit in March, I had an art show in March. And so I had to cancel it because I didn't, we couldn't go. So everything was shut down. So in my mind, I've been thinking more about like, okay, I want to do an art show again. I want to set up one again and do it kind of on a bigger scale. And I want to be able to combine my Sunny's Arrow, which is my art, and my Corinne's Conversations, which is my activist work and my public speaking. Somehow I want to be able to combine the two, and I don't know how to do that yet. I do have a team of people that I meet with, and we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So it's kind of been in my head, and I've been writing little things down about some of the work that I want to do. But, I was thinking maybe we could just paint and have a conversation about different topics that inspire us, or that are important to us, or that matter to us. So that's kind of where my mind is headed. But it's coming soon because I don't want to sleep on it too long.
Corinne's Conversations.
Corinne's Conversations.
On YouTube.
On YouTube and on Instagram.
And on Instagram. So you have a YouTube.
I do.
Corinne's Conversations.
Yes.
And
it's elevating the chatter about life, love, and social justice. So all
I'm trying to tap in. Let me know when we get started on that because I'm at you.
Yeah. So it's different topics about love. And it could be love for self, it could be romantic love, it could be, just love in general, and then life. I was a person that struggled with depression for a really long time, and so I really identify with a lot of the way that people feel when they're feeling depressed, and about like being able to help yourself in your mind, how you talk to yourself, all those things. Doing the Camino really helped me get in that space where I needed to like deal with some really tough things in my life that I was kind of overlooking because I didn't want to deal with, stuff like that. And then social justice, obviously, our black and brown people and the injustices that we see every day and that we experience every day, and how important it is for other people to see that and identify it and call it out when they see it to make a change. So, yeah.
You're an amazing woman.
Thank you.
And I'm proud of myself. I ain't picked up not one card. Like, I ain't picked up nothing. Let me make sure I ain't missing nothing. Let me make sure I ain't missed nothing. Well, dang, did we miss a segment? What? You missed a segment? Did you see it?
I couldn't really see what he was saying because of the,
Oh yeah, because we got like a glare.
The light is so I couldn't see the cards like that. But
we up to an hour already?
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say thank you to Marlon. I want to say thank you to my sister Chastity. I want to say thank you to everybody who watches my shows on YouTube. I want to say thank you to everyone who listens to SeattleHipHopRadio.com. We've had a conversation about life, all the great things that you're doing in the community.
thank you.
It was absolutely an honor. Before we go, the 30 seconds, that hour is like press. So what can you share with the young artists of the world right now?
I would say don't be afraid to be who you are. 100% who you are. And even if it starts off slow, like continually remind yourself where you came from and where you're going. That's the best. That's the best. But be you. Be you authentically, unapologetically, and organically.
You're watching Monae Media on YouTube and you're listening to SeattleHipHopRadio.com.